Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Bridgewater, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
When is the SAP reset date?
August the 3rd.
Okay. And courtroom 2, whenever you all are ready.
Good afternoon, Judge Myra. I'm starting with position number 6.
Okay, good afternoon. And this is Ms. Fortson. Good afternoon, Ms. Fortson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Fortson, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004513D with battery family violence. Is there a history?
Fourth arrest, 2020 battery dismissed, 2010 simple battery dismissed. That's it.
Okay. Mr. Pilon, is this your case?
It is, Judge. How are you, sir?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Doing well, thank you.
Judge, this matter occurred March 20th, 2023. Officers responded to a possible assault around 8:20 p.m. When they arrived, they met with the victim, who advised that he and his live-in girlfriend, the defendant, had previously had an argument. After the argument, the defendant swung her purse at him and cut him above his left eye. The victim did state that this was not the first time the defendant had been physical with him, but it was the first time that he had called police. For those reasons, we're asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Dwayne Hartley, stay away from the incident address, which is 1371 Kimberly Way Southwest, and that's in Atlanta, Georgia. And we would ask to sound for Mr. Hartley.
Mr. Hartley, if you are with us this afternoon, now is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to do so. You'll have to activate your camera and unmute yourself. Doesn't appear so, Mr. Pilon. Ms. Wills, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. Ms. Fortson is 31 years old. She has 3 children, and she's currently struggling with housing. I spoke with her about the housing resources that are located in the jail that have been left by our social workers. She states that she was working for Uber Eats. She will qualify to receive our services. She states that she and her children were living with the alleged victim, and that they got into an argument. He began choking her and that she hit him with her purse to defend herself. After the incident occurred, she left the residence with her children. She's received threats by the alleged victim's family members. So she does not desire to have any contact with him. She's actually filed a TPO against him as well. So she has also stayed away from the incident location. This incident did occur back in March. And my client, she only has 2 prior arrests, and she states that the battery from 2020 was dismissed. So for all of those reasons, I would request a signature bond.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Mr. Hartley. Stay away from the Kimberly Way address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Fortson, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Position number 7, Harris.
Good afternoon, Ms. Harris. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004514G with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, 35 total. Last was 2021 probation. Got an open possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender. Possession of a controlled substance, brake light violation. That's 23 SC 186613. That's all I got.
Okay.
I didn't go any further.
Mr. Pilon?
Your Honor, this incident occurred the 27th of last month. Officers responded to a shoplifting call that occurred earlier. When they arrived, they met with the store manager, who advised officers that she had observed the defendant on video removing bags from behind the pharmacy counter and then filling those bags with items and leaving the store without paying for them. Officers were able to confirm the identity of the defendant with the store manager before they left the incident location. Judge, I show she has 4 open cases with our office and 1 open case with the DA's office. She is a convicted felon. For those reasons, we're asking for a $2,000 surety bond.
Kim, good afternoon.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 51 years old. She's retired. And actually, when she found out about this incident, she turned herself in. She does not really remember exactly what happened, and probably because she was not feeling well at that day, Your Honor. She is actually getting disability checks, and she's not, she needs some medical attentions. And she's qualified for public defender services, and her parents are actually taking care of her. Even though she is 51 years old, she needs a lot of help because of her disability. We would like to request for a signature on bond. And that's about it, Your Honor. This happened about a month ago. Thanks.
Was there a stay away? I'm sorry, Mr. Pilon. Where was the stay away from?
Yes, Judge, I apologize. The incident location is 7355 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs, and we would ask for a stay away.
Okay, what is that, a store?
It's a
Yeah.
CVS pharmacy where my client has been getting her medicine for the last 10 years. And I really would appreciate it if she can continuously get her medicine there, or she has to find another pharmacy, I guess.
Or she's gonna have to find another pharmacy,
Sure.
Ms. Kim.
Yes.
So it's gonna be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, stay away from the CVS on Roswell Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Ms. Harris.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 8.
Good afternoon, Ms. Odita. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004512A with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7 total. 2014 communicating threats. It was dismissed. Out of North Carolina. 2005 trespass, dismissed. That's it.
Good afternoon, Ms. Falk.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So this incident happened July 19th at 1710 Emerald Avenue Southwest at 4:51 p.m. So less than 24 hours ago. Miss Judith Polanese stated her wife locked the room door at that location when she left to go to the store. Miss Polanese attempted to open it with a knife, was unable to, so she went outside to smoke and talk on the phone. The defendant returned, became upset because she was on her phone, and began kicking and punching her. Officers did observe bruises on the side of Miss Polanese's face, the side of her arms, and that her leg was swollen. And in fact, the officer notated in the report that he observed that Miss Polanese was struggling to walk. The defendant was then questioned, claimed that the Miss Polanese had a knife and she punched her in self-defense, but when asked by the officers, admitted that Miss Polanese never charged at her or attempted to do anything with the knife towards her. A child, KW, who was 11 years old, was present during this incident and saw and heard the event. There are 4 cycles in this defendant's history in North Carolina, 1 in Georgia and 1 in Florida. And we are concerned both of a risk of reoffense as well as lack of sufficient ties to the community based on the multi-state history. For that reason, we're asking for a $3,000 surety bond, stay away from 1710 Emerald Avenue Southwest, no further contact with Judith Polanese, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. Our main concern here is also the fact that this literally happened less than 24 hours ago, and so we are concerned there's a lack of cooling off period. We would like to sound from Ms. Judith Polanese.
If Ms. Polanese is present and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Ms. Falk. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Ms. Odita, is 53 years old, and she is actually caregiver for Ms. Judith Polanese and her father, who is 84 years old. and they all lived together at her house. Your Honor, she was working at Emory Healthcare. She's not going to be qualified for public defender services. She graduated from high school. She also has a bachelor's degree. Her major was physical education, and she was born and raised in North Carolina. However, she moved to Georgia about 5 years ago, 2018, and she does have a strong ties to the community. She has her father and her wife and her godson, 11 years old, and she has a job. This became her permanent residency, Your Honor. Georgia is where she is, and she's the one who's taking care of 2 people, actually including godson, 3 people as a sole financial provider. It is very important for her to return. Ms. Judith has some MH issue and lupus and other medical concerns that she really needs. Our victim is alleged victim or complaining witness. She really needs help from my client, and there's a misunderstanding. My client denies the allegation. There was misunderstanding that she wanted to just protect and make sure that her complaining witness does not harm herself, but it kind of came across wrong. But anyway, we would like to request for a signature on bond. And if Your Honor is not inclined to give her a signature on bond, we ask for maximum $1,000 good bond, and so she can return home and take care of them. Thanks.
Thank you. Talking to Ms. Polynice. Ms. Kim,
Yes,
you did?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Your
Did
Honor.
you, have you spoken to Ms. Polynice?
No, I was not able to talk to her because I don't have her phone number. My client did not remember her phone number because it's in the cell phone, and she didn't know the number itself.
Okay, so if no one has spoken with Ms. Polynice, then I'm not going to allow her to have any contact at the present time. She can go back to Emerald Avenue address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. And there's going to be no further contact with Ms. Polynice. Of course, if you do speak with Ms. Polynice and she desires something different, down the road that you can seek to modify the bond. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge for the battery, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial for the cruelty, which makes for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, the no further contact, the stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Odita.
Position 11, Smith.
Your Honor, I apologize for interruption, but I just want to clarify one thing about the godchild that she has. Can we have a third-party arrangement? Because I don't think Ms. Judith Polynice is available to help.
Of course, there can be a third-party transfer of any minor children.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? No, you're fine, Ms. Smith. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004505J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Smith, you said?
Position 11, yes, I think Antoinette Smith.
11 total. Last arrest was in December, theft by taking. That's open in state court, 22 CR 008214J. 2022 trespass damage arrest. 2017 disorderly conduct NOLO. 2016 ag battery out of Florida. A couple of probation violations from 2015 for battery. 2012 battery conviction and 2012 obstruction NOLO.
Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened July 18th at 11:40 p.m. at 1188 Joseph E. Boone. The officer spoke to Ms. Rosenia Castello, who stated that her living girlfriend, the defendant, assaulted her. Ms. Castello stated that she had actually been assaulted by the defendant the day before, had gone to the hospital, and had come back from the hospital on July 18th. And while she was watching a movie with MS, who is 14 years of age, the defendant came home, was intoxicated, according to Ms. Castello, and began a verbal dispute with her. At that point, the defendant became physical with her, grabbed her face, dug her nails into her skin, and punched her multiple times. According to Ms. Castello, she stated she was already injured from the attack the day before and was under heavy medication, so she couldn't fight back. Officers did observe that Ms. Castello had a bloody face, scratches and swelling, and was in severe pain. At that point, they had EMS treat Ms. Castello, and while that was happening, Ms. Castello told the officer that before the officers left, that she believed, based on prior incidents with the defendant, that the defendant attacks her, then goes and hides, and then returns back to the location. According to the police report, the officer told Ms. Castello to stay in a locked room with her cell phone and call the police quickly if that happened. Several hours later, dispatch called the same officer out to that location with a message that the defendant had returned, and the defendant was arrested and taken into custody. Your Honor, I'm hoping that from my recitation of this report, that the takeaway here is that there has been clearly a series and a pattern of violence here, not only with the day before, where Ms. Castello stated she had to go to the hospital for treatment due to violence from this defendant, but the fact that the Ms. Castello specifically explained to the officer what has happened in previous instances and had to get advice from the officer for how to manage that. And not only that, but then essentially what she said then happened, and the officer had to come back and place the defendant under arrest. Also, what concerns the state is that aggravated battery out of Florida from 2016, the 2012 battery conviction, as well as that open case out of Fulton County, where she's currently out on a $2,000 surety bond with a no further contact from Deja Henson and stay away from Oliver Street. That order was signed by Judge Mincy in December of 2022. So it's been about 7 months, and the defendant is back here again on another charge. There's also still that open 2022 criminal trespass in a cab. This all gives, Your Honor, a picture, I believe, of someone who is not going to reoffend and is a high likelihood of reoffense. It's only been 2 days since this incident. For that reason, we are seeing that there is a $5,000 surety bond that was preset, which I'm not 100% sure how that happened, since my understanding is magistrate court can't preset bonds on family violence cases. But here we are. We are requesting that bond be increased to a $10,000 surety bond, as well as no further contact with Rosenia Castello, stay away from 1188 Joseph E. Boone, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we're requesting a family violence intervention program. Your Honor, if we can sound for Ms. Rosenia Castello.
Ms. Castello is on the line. It's the court now. It's your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Ms. Falk. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Ms. Smith, is 32 years old, and she was born in Pennsylvania. However, she's been here in Georgia for the last 23 years, and her entire family members are here in Georgia. So she does have a strong ties to the community. And yet, because of her felony charge in the past, she said that she has had very hard time finding a job. Even though she's actively looking for a job, she's not able to get a job. So she does pairs to her, she has odd jobs, and she does a lot of charity works in the neighborhood. She cleans up and she cuts the grasses and does hairs. She graduated from high school, and she also has some college credits, and yet she was not able to complete the college. Right now, she's qualified for public defender services because of her financial hardships. And she is actually using food stamps, and she's renting a room at that incident location. And she's willing to stay away if that is necessary for her to get a signature on bond that she's really hoping to get. She denies the allegation, and she says that she does not have much relationship with Miss Rosenia Castello, who is a friend of her girlfriend. They're kind of like a roommate, but other than sharing a room, they don't really have much of a relationship. So she has no objection to stay away or no further contact with the Rosenia Castello. She has no financial means to pay for any bond. So having $10,000 good bond is kind of like getting a no bond. Even $5,000 good bond, she couldn't pay for that at all. So we would like to request for maximum $1,000 good bond in this case. Thank you.
Your Honor, I just want to point out that the warrant very clearly states that this is her girlfriend.
This is it's going to be a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Miss Castello. Stay away from the Joseph E. Boone address. I don't know if she needs to go back there on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. She can do that. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you,
Good
Your
luck to you,
Honor.
Ms. Smith. You're welcome.
Position 1.
Good afternoon, Mr. Akins. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004504G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
15 total. Last arrest was in March, failed to appear. Got an open shoplifting in Superior Court. 23 SC 185671. Open suspended license as well. 2022 trespass, shoplifting, 2019 trespass, 2017 probation violation and trespass, and a 2011 probation.
Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge. In this matter, officers responded to a trespass call. They met with the security manager who advised the defendant had been instructed to leave and refused to leave. And the defendant had previously been trespassed from the location on January 26th of 2023. Judge, I currently show that there's a $10,000 surety bond on it. The state would be asking for a $2,000 signature on bond and a stay away from the incident location, which is 260 18th Street. And that's the Atlantic Station complex.
No objection to the Your Honor, and we appreciate that. And speaking with my client, I have confirmed that he does have adequate housing, so housing is not an issue as reported by him. And he does understand he cannot return there.
Okay, $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from Atlantic Station. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Position 4, rule.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brewer. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Oh, yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. I hope you are as well, Mr. Brewer. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004510G with simple battery and criminal trespass. Is there a history?
55 total. Last arrest was June 28th, trespass. You got an open DUI, hit and run, reckless driving, FTA in DeKalb County. On probation, I got burglary, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. In 2012, they gave him 5 years to serve and then 15 years probation. 2023 failed to appear. 2018 simple battery conviction. 2018 disorderly conduct, NOLO. And he's a habitual trespasser.
Mr. Pilon?
This happened around 10 a.m. yesterday morning. The victim in this case, Miss Stevie Rogers, reported to MARTA police that the defendant had struck her on the right shoulder, and defendant had received a permanent ban from MARTA effective December 27th of last year. For those reasons, Judge, we're asking for a $2,000 split bond. That would be a $1,000 surety bond on the simple battery and a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial services on the criminal trespass. We'd also ask for no further contact with the victim, who is Miss Stevie Rogers, and stay away from all MARTA locations. Judge, we would like to sound for Miss Rogers.
If Ms. Rogers is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Good afternoon, Ms. McLeod.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client is 61 years old. He tells me, Your Honor, that last year, February, he was attacked while he was in MARTA, and he's blind in one eye as a result. He also tells me that he is suing MARTA over that incident, and he feels like that because he has initiated this lawsuit against Marta that he has been harassed. He said he was just recently arrested. What the warrant alleges is that in the course of trying to sit on a bench, he struck this lady. My client tells me that he did not strike anyone. If she says she was hit, it must have been totally accidental. I could imagine if someone is blind in that eye, it is possible that in trying to sit down there, they may have hit someone, Your Honor, but this is not a deliberate thing that he attacked someone. He doesn't know who this person is at all. And he tells me he was just sitting on the bench waiting because he had a doctor's appointment that he needed to attend. My client is not in a position to postpone, Your Honor. And given the nature of the allegations, I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond so he can get out of jail. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, for the simple battery, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Rogers and stay away from Marta. Courtroom 2, can you unmute yourself, please? Now, Mr. Brewer, I'm going to let you out, but you know you can't go back to Marta. You understand that?
So, yes, sir.
Okay, so if you go back to Marta and they catch you there, you're just going to be right back here, and I'm not going to let you out next time, all right?
So, yes, sir. Can I say something, sir?
No, I don't want you saying anything, Mr. Brewer, because you have a right to remain silent, and I don't want you to get yourself in any more trouble, okay? But you'll be able to talk, with Ms. McLeod at a later time if you have any questions, all right?
So, yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Brewer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 5, Dorsey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dorsey. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004511F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fourth arrest, 2021 shoplifting, 2021 trespass, disorderly conduct that was dismissed. That's it.
Mr. Pilon?
Judge, if you would just give me a moment, sir, I kind of lost.
Okay.
This
You're
is
fine.
This is defendant Dorsey.
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you, Judge.
Okay.
Officers responded to a domestic call around 5 p.m. Judge, this happened last month, June 5th. The victim stated that she and her son were involved in an argument while she was seated in her vehicle. The defendant then grabbed his mother, the victim is the mother, and pulled her from the vehicle and threw her to the ground. The victim had visible bruising to the left side of the body. Judge, they live together. They do not live at the incident location, have a separate address. The victim stated that this is not the first time they've had a physical altercation. And I do show a previous case that was dismissed, which is 22 CR 001741A. The victim stated that they've been living together since this incident and that there hasn't been any violence since, and that she's not in fear of the defendant. But given the fact that there's been a previous arrest with the same victim, we are asking for no further contact. We're asking for a $3,000 surety bond, stay away from the victim's address, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Judge, it's my understanding the victim is on the call, and so I would like to sound for her. Her name is Miss Mindy Hutchison.
And can you give me the stay away address, please?
Yes, Judge, that's 5868 Blacktop Way, Union City, Georgia.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hutchinson. If you'll raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I don't have a problem with him staying here. Actually, the altercation was my fault. I pulled up to a place where his friend was at, and he tried to defuse the altercation. I had two cars. I jumped in the car that he was in, and he tried to get me out. So I don't have a problem with him being back here. You know, we're mother and son, you know, we have mother-son arguments. That was a rare occasion. So I don't think he needs to stay away. He's got a sister and another brother and a nephew here that love him dearly. So
How old's your son?
the son that lives here,
Yes, Kobe.
oh, Kobe's 21.
Okay,
And he's about to be a fireman. So he's a good kid. Just
has this happened before?
we had an incident. I took his phone and he like grabbed my arm and moved me out the way. But I mean, he's never like punched me or hit me or anything like that. It's just a move out the way. I'm not scared of him.
And
That's my son.
In this incident, did you call the police?
Yes, sir.
And why did
Actually,
you-
no, my daughter did, I believe.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Ms.
Yes, sir.
McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 21 years old. As Kutrala said, he does not have any significant history, Your Honor. He tells me that he's currently unemployed, but he has been trying to get in as a fireman and he's about to be accepted for that, Your Honor. And we've heard from Mom. I had the opportunity to speak with Mom earlier as well. And she tells me that she does want her son to get home with her. This incident happened over a month ago, and they've been living together constantly since then, Your Honor. I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond so he can get out of jail and that it be conditioned on no further violent contact with his mom. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Hutchinson, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Dorsey. You also, Ms. Hutchinson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good day, Ms. McLeod.
Thank you
So much.
You're welcome.
Position number 9.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rock. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Judge. And how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, sir. Let's see. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004509C with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history?
Last arrest was back in March, trespass, suspended license. 2022 trespass, 2013 careless driving, injury, vehicular assault, drug conviction in another state. That's it.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened July 19th, 2023 at 12 p.m., so a little over 24 hours ago. The officers were the officer actually was at Zone 1 precinct at 2315 Donald Lee Hollowell when she heard help being screamed and the sound of glass breaking. The officer then said she saw 2 items fly over the gate from the defendant's hand. Miss Blankenship, Bianca Blankenship, was approached by the officer and told her that at 10 a.m., she and the defendant were in a verbal argument that turned physical when he bent her arm back to control her movement. They do live together, but they're going through a breakup. And Miss Blankenship stated she traveled to Zone 1 precinct to get a TPO. The defendant followed her from their place of work at UPS 270 Marvin Miller Drive all the way to Zone 1, where the physical altercation then began again. At that point, the defendant grabbed and threw her cell phone and keys over the fence, which is what the officer observed and which led her to make contact. The officer recovered the phone, but it was non-functional, which is where the criminal trespass charge comes from. As you have heard, this defendant has 2 open cases for criminal trespass. One is out of Paulding and one is out of Fulton County. And obviously, this is a situation that escalated to the point that not only did Miss Blankenship feel that she needed police assistance, but the officer actually caught the back end of that altercation. For those reasons, we do have concern about risk of reoffense, and we are requesting a $3,500 surety bond, $3,000 on the simple battery, $500 on the criminal trespass. Stay away from 4020 Shirley Drive Southwest, which is where they both reside, and no further contact with Bianca Blankenship, including at work, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1 day anger awareness. We would like to sound for Ms. Blankenship, Your Honor.
If Ms. Blankenship is on the line, she's to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Ms. Falk. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Rock, is 31 years old. He was born here in Georgia, Your Honor, and he is currently employed at UPS at warehouse. He's been working there for about 2 to 3 years, and he's afraid that he may lose his job at this point because of this arrest. And yet, I just assumed that he would keep his job, and if so, then he's not going to qualify for public defender services. He does have a master's degree, and he also served at the Army from 2010 to 2018 as a non-commissioned officer, and he does not have any disability, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature on bond, and yet if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we're fine with a maximum $1,000 good bond. They have lived together, and yet my client has no objection to no further contact and stay away from her. They were about to break up, and my client is accepting that they broke up. We just need one-time law enforcement officer to retrieve my client's personal belongings from wherever Bianca Blankenship has been living with my client. And that's it, Your Honor. Thanks.
The simple $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge makes it a total of $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Blankenship, stay away from 4020 Shirley address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Position 10, Shorter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shorter. I'm Judge Eric Mara. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Shorter, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004506J with simple battery, family violence, and simple battery against a person who is pregnant at the time of the offense. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7 total. Last arrest was July 6th. Failure to appear, DeKalb County. On probation in Gwinnett for fleeing an officer, theft by taking obstruction. 2019, they gave him 1 year to serve, 7 years probation for that. And they got a couple of probation violations, one from 2021, one from 2022. That's it.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened February 14th, 2023 at 1052 Grant Way Southeast. Officers spoke to Ms. Paige Bullard, who stated she was dropping off their 2-year-old son and wanted to talk with the defendant. When he refused to talk, she grabbed their son back and then turned around to leave. The defendant then pushed her in the back of the head, causing her to fall to the ground, holding their 2-year-old child. At the time of this incident, Ms. Bullard was 9 months pregnant with his child. As you've heard from pretrial, the defendant has 7 cycles. He currently has a hold out of Gwinnett County. He also has a 2019 he's also on felony probation currently and has a 2022 and 2020 probation violation and a 2022 FTA, which I point out just to show that we are concerned about his likelihood of following the guidelines of the court and coming to court. We have spoken to the victim, Ms. Bullard. She stated that they are co-parenting, they don't live together, and they do share 2 children. She confirmed the events in the warrant, and she stated that the incident location is the defendant's residence. For that reason, we will not be asking for a stay away. And she has stated that she is not in fear of the defendant and does not wish to proceed. However, we do have concerns regarding the violence in this case, especially the fact that she was holding their child when this happened and was also pregnant when this happened. For that reason, the state is asking for a $4,000 split bond, $2,000 on count 1, $2,000 signature 2,000 surety on count 1, 2,000 signature on count 2, both through pretrial, the count 2 through pretrial services. We are agreeable to no further violent contact with Ms. Bullard, 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. We have no objection to signature on bond for pretrial and no further violent contact. And yet we would like to request for a signature on bond for the first simple battery and family violence charge as well. Because he can only go to Gwinnett County at this point because of the outstanding warrant out there. My client is 27 years old and he is employed as a filmmaker. So, and he graduated from high school and he will not be qualified for public defender services. And he says that they have been having a good relationship even after February 14, 2023. They have 2 kids right now, 2 years old and 5 months old. My client is the sole financial provider for these people, the kids and kids' mother. We would like to request for a signature on bond and be released to Gwinnett County so that he can take care of other warrant as well. Thank you.
With a simple battery, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. The first one. For the second simple battery, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. It makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Bullard. Third-party transfer of any minor children. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I did not sound for Ms. Bullard prior to my giving the bond. Ms. Bullard, if you would like to address the court, I'll give you that opportunity to do so. You do not have to address the court, but if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Your Honor, I apologize for the oversight and failing to sound for her.
No worries. Miss Bullard, you've got to unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to say that I provoked him that night, and he got angry, and I wouldn't stop talking to him. So I feel like it's on me. Okay.
Well, let me just say to you that when somebody lays hands on you, it's never your fault. So, and if that's the case, then I'm letting my my ruling stand. I thank you for being here, Ms. Bullard.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. It's my understanding that position 2 is going to be a medical reset until, I guess, tomorrow, 7/21. And position 3 is going to be a medical reset until tomorrow, 7/21. Ms. Wills, I think that was in response to your email, right?
Yes, Your Honor. That is my understanding also.
Okay, all right. And with that, I believe that we're done. Courtroom 2, are you someone with me?
Judge, if I may, will you go back to position number 10? I know you gave him a $2,000 total good bond, no further contact. And what was the other condition?
Third-party transfer of any minor
Third-party
children.
transfer. Okay, no problem. And I believe that is the end of the calendar if we would like to go over it.
Okay.
Okay, position number 1 is reset further notice with the $2,000 SOB through the jail. Positions 2 and 3 are being reset till tomorrow. Position 4 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 5, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 6, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 7, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 8, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 9 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. And 11 is reset on the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Are there questions, comments, or otherwise?
Ms. Bridgewater, I know you just said this, but what's the reset date again?
August the 3rd.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay.
If not, this makes
Oh,
up.
one other thing. Judge, after you make that announcement, you may be excused. You've had a long day.
Thank you. I was just about to tell Ms. Falk that this makes up for Monday, number one, and what Ms. Bridgewater is referring to is I got out of SAP 5 minutes before this calendar. So we had a 5-hour SAP calendar today. So it's been a long day for me. You guys have a good day. I'll see you next time, okay?
Okay,
Great day,
bye-bye,
Governor.
everyone.
Bye-bye.